There's no striking to the back of the head. There's no striking to the groin. There's no striking to the throat, right? There's no eye gouging. There's things that you're not allowed to do. And when you get programmed not to do that, when you go out in the street, you're not going to do that. That's reality. We are programmed dogs. Does everybody agree with that? Right? We are programmed. Perfect practice makes what? Perfect or permanent. Just remember that. Every time we do a self-defense technique, we don't reach down to grab our opponent and help him up. Why? Because you'll do it out in the street. We don't get somebody into an armbar, drag them to the floor, and have them tap the floor like this, and then you let go. Because when somebody taps the floor, you're gonna automatically what? Let go. If you got a lock and somebody taps, you're gonna let go. It's just the way you practice. So remember that, guys. Every time we practice a certain way, there's a reason for it. There's a mindfulness about what we do, right? So it all depends on how we're fighting and why we're utilizing the fight and utilizing the techniques. So when you're talking about sport fighting and we're talking about taking traditional movement and making it work in a modern day society, we have to be aware of body mechanics and we have to be aware of where our opponent is. Is he in the kill box? Is he not in the kill box? How do we react to that? We don't move forward sometimes. Sometimes we have to step back to make that miss, to make that shoot miss, to make that grab miss. It's okay to step back with one foot and then pivot and get offline. Does everybody follow? So we're taking what we have and we're making it work. That's what Sanda is all about. That's what free sparring is all about. And that's what we have to do. Because there's way too many Kung Fu schools out there that don't fight, that don't pressure test. And we have to do the pressure testing now. So we're taking what we learn. And yes, we're wearing 16-ounce gloves. So we're minimal about a grabbing and stuff like that, but we're taking 16-ounce gloves and we're working our style so it can be worked in an environment where we're sparring so that we can get that environmental stress, right? The nervousness, the heart rate goes up. If you are not sparring, you are not pressure testing. You are not pressure testing your material. There's no way you could just think it's gonna happen and it's just gonna happen verbatim. Never gonna happen like that. In all the years that I've been fighting, it doesn't happen like that. You have to pressure test your material. So what are we doing? Pressure testing our material. But we're taking traditional style and evolving it. And that's what all modern fighting is, right? The word MMA, mixed martial arts, every style out there is a mixed martial art. There is no purebred style out there anymore. Every style that you see, whether it's Kung Fu, whether it's karate, whether it's jiu-jitsu, whether it's taekwondo, is a mixed martial art style. Always. Because systems will evolve. Teachers don't teach the same way. The next teacher in line will teach it a little different, and the system will evolve. That person might not be able to jump as fast as me or punch the way I punch. So they're going to evolve the system because it's going to work for them, right? That's how this works. So the system will eventually evolve more, and that's what we want to do. But where is our roots? Traditional Kung Fu. Where is our roots? Northern Shaolin Kung Fu. One more time. And 1, 2, punch, here, grab, down to the floor. Does everybody understand? Let's go back to guard. So, we're gonna do tiger stance, come around, horse, punch, grab, stopping kick, turn, double punch. Switching over, punch, from here, grab and pull, step, under, fighting horse, tiger, punch, stopping, grab an underhook, down to the floor. From here, all we do is turn the knee to punch. What stance is this? Rooster stance. So I'm just guard, it's gonna be 1, 2, punch, here, grab, down to the floor. You guys follow? Okay, go get a drink, come back on the floor, put your gloves on, and let's start sparring.
Misconception has been around for decades is, oh, well, you're doing the forms, how you fight with the forms, right? So the same thing with karate. The karate has the katas. Oh, these katas are cool, but how would you use this in a fight? And you wouldn't. That's not the purpose of the kata, and that's not the purpose of the form, right? the purpose of the form, like you were saying in class, is to teach you proper foot placement, left side on left side, right foot on right side. And it might seem very simple and very arbitrary, but there's some people there that can't tie their shoes.
Agreed.
And there's very uncoordinated people out there, and I used to be one of them.
And forms helps.
And forms help. You're doing the same move over and over and over again. That fortifies neural pathways. That fortifies hand-eye coordination. That fortifies that mind-body connection you're always talking about.
Back up. And now throw. And you guys are doing this. We're just dancing at this point, right? Because then there's nothing happening. If I go like this, and then I set up the kick, I want to set up these drills, right? So if I'm here or I set up this and I drag my leg down, that changes things, right? Or if I'm here and I go here, right? Lift and then throw the kick. Try to change it up. Try to chase him back. Low line here. And then here, right? Try to set it up differently. When we're doing kicks like this, learn how to do multiple kicks and then angles. So if I'm here and he throws a roundhouse and I go like this, what did I do? I moved on a 45. So he throws a roundhouse, I know it's gonna happen. He throws it again, I move on the 45 and throw the kick. My teacher was known for moving while throwing the kick. So every time you lifted your leg, he was over here. So now you're extended, and now he's over here for the setup. Does everybody understand? Sometimes the best setup for that is this. Spinning back thrust kick. Just from here, I move, and I set up that back thrust kick. Does everybody understand? So think about multiple kicks. Punches and bunches, same thing with the kicks. Your kicks should be jabs, and then sometimes they should be hooks. Sometimes they should be elbows, back thrust kicks. Same thing, right? Okay, hands and feet. Find a partner.
And the footwork of the form, how the idea behind the movement,
Theory, right?
the theory behind the movement, and then how that theory is going to be changed into a functional sense, right? So,
that's the whole sticky thing, right? So we talk about theory, and then we talk about functional, but the theory about the movement is already functional. You follow what I'm saying, right? So when you're learning the form, you're learning theory about, you're not learning how to fight, but you're learning the theory of what the movement is supposed to be, right?
Yeah, the idea behind the movement.
Right. And so then we break it down and we say that we're evolving it, or that we're making it palatable or making it applicable for that type of fighting. Not necessarily for every type of fighting, but for that type of fighting that we're doing.
Right.
For the
because originally the movements and the forms were not meant for sport.
Right.
They were meant for
maiming and killing,
and combat. Because when it was developed, depending on what type of era it was, either the country was at war or that person who developed was in the military or what have you. But a lot of times, and because of the particular person's experience, they can't take that form and adapt it not for combat or for combat, but a different type of combat, right? Because of the experience we had fighting, not just self-defense fighting, but also combat sport kind of fighting, you're able to take the same move but take certain pieces out to make it adaptable for whatever type of combat that you're going into.
So right? Being able to break stuff down and form and function.
Right. So, you doing the a la Choi movement from the 7-star you were doing tonight.
Yep.
That type of movement might not be totally functional in a combat sport sense because, you got the gloves on, certain rules, things like that, but you can use the principle of that movement and just change one or two avenues to get it to be functional.
Yeah.
Now people say, well, now you're not doing Kung Fu. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, which
Right?
which is a load of shit.
It's a load of shit.
Because if it works, then it can't be kung fu.
Right.
Right. Exactly.
But kung fu is not just the movements. Kung fu is the
principle.
The principles, right? And people have that misconception. Principles doesn't mean shit's written in rock hard stone.
Yeah.
Principles means this is the principle of it, but then this is the realization of that principle.
Yeah, the guidelines.
The guideline. You have to be able to apply the principle to a certain situation or application or avenue or whatever, or something like that. So you have to be able to adapt, and that was the main idea behind certain individuals doing certain forms, creating certain forms, because they came up against certain people in combat that they had to change and adapt their fighting style to beat that particular person.
Correct.
So that whole sense that, now you're not doing this, now you're not doing that, was just a load of shit. Because you constantly have to adapt.
Yeah.
And you constantly have to change, because you're going to be fighting people who are not of your style and have different fighting styles anyway.
Right. Fight somebody, be a little bit more defensive the next time, come in more aggressive with the legs, stay back with the legs, change up hands and feet, be more pressed, so always change. You've got to adapt, you've got to evolve. Every person you come across, regardless if they're in the same school, they're all going to fight differently. Body type, right? Body type, body size, mental stability as far as how aggressive they are, how assertive they are, or if they're not assertive. You've got to learn how to be able to play all those fields. You've got to wear 1,000 different hats when you're fighting, guys. Can't just be cookie cutter one style. Does everybody understand? Got to be able to flow. All right, go ahead, break, let's do it. Everybody be good. Everybody enjoy themselves. Uplift each other. Stop being dicks.
Stop talking shit.
Help each other out, man. Let's uplift each other and let's build our community a little better. So talk real, get real. See you later.
Ciao.
Oh.